dāni kyabso nā ye chūshēn kībē sō nām kī ndō lā bēnchī sāng kī ndō bārā shō sāng kī chū chāngchū pārdō dāni kyabso chī ndā ye chē sō kībē sō nām kī ndō lā bēnchī sāng kī ndō bārā no zai shi bu ki chu shi me do da mai ri ra mai li shi ni de oi ge bai de Sangye Shinto Mende Mewaye Jogu Namai Dai Shinla Jebara Jo Yedamanguru Rana Mendala Gamne Yandaraya Mi Okay. Oh yeah. uh, welcome back, and after 2 weeks, then just want to greet everyone. Okay, I think we now have come to the first of all, I want to say hello to everyone. And then to have the proper motivation, which is to benefit all the to have attain the enlightenment, attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. So I think we are on verse number 41, the four samadhis. The four immeasurables we covered last in our last session, and today we will be covering the four samadhis, four concentrations. So we will go into that today. So let me read the verse in Tibetan first. Döju ngadang dedang dongye ta number pangpe samden shibo yi changdang wese tadang gege tang jibu chela namda kanyam top. That's the Tibetan. In English, the four samadhis, which in turn discard pursuit of pleasure, joy, and bliss and pain, will lead to fortune equal to the gods in Brahma, light, great virtue, or great fruit. So, this to explain this, first of all, we have to know about something called the three realms. I think most of the time we talk about the six realms. I think that's the most popular one because it's kind of associated with our day-to-day life. So normally when we talk about the six realms, we are referring to the, even though it's translated in English as six realms, it's more like six beings, six types of beings. But the more popular translation, I don't know in Vietnamese, but in English, they call it realm, six realms. The human realm, the God realm, etc. The three upper realm and the three lower realms. The more proper translation, the more literal wording from Tibetan to English would be the three types of beings. Okay. And now when we talk about realms, there's something called the three realms. Three realms. So even though we say six realms and also talk about three realms, it's more likely three types of beings. Sorry, six types of beings: the three upper realm, three lower realm, the human being, animal, like that, and then the three realms. Okay, I will come into why it's called a realm later. So six beings, six types of beings, and three realms. So this is what we are coming to, and then so in order to know what the four samadhis are, we have to first know what the we have to know about something called the three realms. So six types of beings, as it's very familiar to anyway already, and then the three realms. So the three realm, we call them the Sanskrit is in basically in Tibetan we say sume, dökam, sukham, and sume, or the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. Mm. So the desire realm, when we talk about all sentient beings, we don't think about much further than the desire realm. So um, this can be a little bit tricky, okay? So I will maybe I will explain more if you need to. So all the six types of beings, the humans, the gods, the animal, the hell being, all they belong to the realm called the desire realm, the first realm, okay? The desire realm. Mm.
Yeah.
So the so-called six beings, what we usually call the six beings, or the six types of what we usually call the six realms, which is the six types of beings, they all belong to the first realm, known as the realm of desire. The six realms all belong to the six realms or the six types of beings all belong to the first realm, known as the realm of the desire or the desire realm. The reason being, all these six types of beings, the humans, the gods, the demigods, upper realm, the animals, the hungry ghost, and the hell beings. So all of the six realms or the six types of beings, they are all driven by um, fruit desire or gross desire, very strong desire. Everything they do it out of desire. So desire does not necessarily have to be sexual desire or attachment, like of course, there is attachment there, and then out of attachment, they also have so the six types of being, the human to the god to the hell being, the six beings, they all belong to the desire realm because they're all driven by very strong urges or desire. So uh, they are driven by strong desire. Okay, so because of that, they all belong to the desire realm. Mm. Anything that we do, we are driven by a strong desire. So we may not be aware of that. We think we are doing it for, okay, we say we are doing it for, sometimes we say we are doing it for my parents, my country, as a human being, okay? Or we say we are doing it for the all sentient beings, blah, 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 like that. But always there is a very strong desire. And that desire is also rooted in um, self-cherishing, okay? Basically, there is a sense of selfishness there. Even though the Buddhas and the Bodhisattva, they all work for the sentient beings, the difference is that when they dedicate themselves for the sentient beings, there is no room for self-cherishment. But for us, even when we do our practices, we do it for, okay, for a better life next in our for a better birth in our next life, this and that. So there is always some sort of a self-cherishment, just self-cherishing there. So anyway, this is just a human realm. And if you go to, let's say, an animal realm, or if you see all the small insects like germs, or small insects like ants, or small to the microbial level, the smallest of the smallest um, um, uh, the what do you call that, bacteria, all these things, to the biggest mammal like a whale or an elephant, etc. They are all driven by a strong urge to fulfill their desire. So therefore, all of us, and then the same goes for people who live in hell. Those who live in the hell, they want to have a little bit of a peace, little bit of a relief, and whether they get it or not, that is what they're running after. So therefore, they are known as the realm of desire. So all the six realms belong to the six types of beings belong to the realm, or realm meaning existence, right? So we all belong to the existence or realm known as the realm of desire, because that is what we are driven by. And they are driven by desire. So not only the desire, you may say that desire may be there in other realms too, but that they have the very strong desire to very strong. They are under the command of a very strong desire towards sensual pleasure, meaning the five senses, what you see, what you hear, what you can smell, what you can taste, etc. So they are driven by a very strong urge or desire towards sensual pleasure or sensual triggers. So therefore, that they are all known as the six realms. Sorry, they are known as the realm of the desire. So basically, all six realms, from the God to the hell being, they're all driven by the desire to appease or make to please or appease or please the five senses, the nose, the eyes, the feeling, etc., the touching, etc. Okay, so that's the six realms. Sorry, the desire realm. Okay, now I want you to pay attention to something called peaceful. And so the literal word, the word that we use in the Tibetan exactly is peace. Okay, peace and coarse. Coarse meaning rough, gross. Peace and gross, or peace and coarse. Something that is peaceful and something that is rough. So these two words. This is these two key words I want to introduce to you. So think of peace and gross. To put it in simple English, just think of that as pros and cons. You know the word, right? The pros and cons. The pros and cons. So in the term that we use in Dharma is peace and gross, or peace and coarse. That is the term we use, but it basically means pros and cons. Now we understand three things. Before understanding the four samadhi, or the four concentration, we understand the six realms, we understand the three realms, and we also understand peace and coarse, peace and rough, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Peace and coarse basically means pros and cons, okay? But this is the
Yeah.
term.
Yeah.
So what happens then is that someone is really see all the things that's going on in samsara. First, we really dislike what's happening in the hell realm, in the hungry ghost realm, animal realm. So much suffering. Even in the human life, so much suffering. We want something better. Maybe the life of a demigod, but the demigod is also haunted by jealousy and all that. So maybe the best life is to become a god, to be born in the god realm. That is the best thing. That is what we desire, because when you become a god, you live for a very long time, thousands of years, so almost like an eternity compared to our life, very short. And then our life is very fragile, easy to die. If we eat something wrong, we die. If we think something wrong, we become depression and we die. We become suicidal. So many things happen when the human life, very fragile, easy to die by thought, easy to die by when you say the wrong thing, you get you know put into jail or killed by people. When you do the wrong thing, when you say the wrong thing, when you have the wrong thought, you're easy to die. So basically, human life is very fragile. And then it looks like the God life is very long, very strong, very powerful. So normally we were driven by a God's life to live a very long life, to have a very powerful, strong life. That is what we are driven towards. Even within human life, we don't want to live a poor man's life. We want to have some things proper. We want to have cars. We want to have a house. We want to have the balance, bank balance to do things. So basically, we want more and more and more and more and more and more, all of that, right? So my main point is that once you have done all of that, when you come to find all these things, then at the end, what you find is none of this works. Okay, having money is good, but too much money still does not, even if you have all the money in the world, there are so many desires that cannot be fulfilled. If you have the best car in the world, so also that doesn't fulfill. So the same goes with the God realm. If you become a god, you still have to die after some time, like maybe thousands of years. At one point, you have to die. Then when you die, you come to the hell realm and you still suffer. So basically, what they see, when you reflect, when you contemplate, you find that from the hell realm to the God's realm, no matter how powerful you are as an animal, how powerful you are as a human being, how rich you are, how powerful God you are, doesn't matter. None of that matters. Everything is so futile. Everything is so futile, meaningless. And you want to give up all of that. You want something peaceful. Okay, now coming to the two keywords, peace and coarse. Everything that you see in the desire realm, you see it as coarse, rough, uh, corrugated, like rough. When it's rough, you don't feel comfortable. Then you want something. You want to distance, separate yourself from all this life, everything to do with the desire towards the five senses. You want to do away with that. Five senses doesn't work anymore. It's meaningless. You want to get away with that. So the five senses, the desire realm, you see as coarse. And something that is beyond the desire realm, you see peaceful. So pro and con. So when you look for that, and then when you approach the pros beyond the desire realm, and you start looking at the desire realm as coarse, then you have come to, and of course you are contemplating on that, you are meditating on that, and that part is known as the first samadhi. The first samadhi is when you start looking down or cons at the desire realm and looking up or looking pro peace to the realm beyond the six realms and the desire realm. Yeah. So when you get to so when you go beyond running after, when you go beyond running after the sensual pleasures, when you go beyond running after the five senses, the desire realm, all the good qualities or the good things that you see in the six realms, when you stop going after that, when you start, when you get revoked by seeing the six realms, and when you want to go beyond that, and the first sort of stabilization or stage that you get, that you reach, is known as uh, the first samadhi. Okay, that is the first samadhi. The first samadhi. So the characterization of the first samadhi is that the first samadhi, also sometimes called the first dhyana. Okay, Tibetan we use the word samten, which means placing the mind. Dhyana means to concentrate. Uh, so samadhi and dhyana, they're very similar. So sometimes they call it the dhyana, the four dhyanas, or sometimes it's called the four samadhis. Anyway, it is basically the first stage within the form realm now. Okay, so the person who has reached that level is now in the form realm, no more in the desire realm, no, not in the formless realm. They are in what is known as the form realm. Okay, the form realm. And so how do we characterize the first samadhi? The form realm has four samadhis or four dhyanas, four stages. The first stage is characterized by looking down on the six realms and the three realms, and then looking up towards something beyond that. That is the first stage, or the first dhyani, or the first samadhi. So, okay, maybe to make it easier, so when you reach, when you apply, when you look forward to something beyond the six realms, then you have reached what is known as the stages of the dhyana, stages of the concentration. Okay. So within the stages of concentration, there are 4 stages. The first stage, the second stage, third. So like first dhyana, second dhyana, third dhyana, and fourth dhyana. So now we are going to differentiate between the first dhyana, second dhyana, the third dhyana, and the fourth dhyana. What are the difference between the 4 dhyanas? So when we are in the dhyana, we are already in the form realm. So within the form realm, there are 4 stages, right? Form realm has 4 stages: first, second, third, and fourth dhyanas. So how do you differentiate second dhyana from the first one, the third dhyana from the second one, etc.? Now we were going to talk about that. So in order to understand the 4 dhyanas, something we need to once again bring our attention to something called applied and sustained attention. So 2 types of attention, okay? 2 types of attention. In Tibetan, we call it tok, je, tokpa and jepa, okay? Tokpa is applied attention, and jepa is sustained attention. I will come to what it means, okay? So for example, I look at for example, this cup is in front of me. I look at this cup, that is applied attention. I just applied my attention to this cup. That's it. That is the tokpa. In Sanskrit, it's called vitara, okay? I just pay attention to it, meaning I'm not observing it. I'm not investigating it. I'm just observing it. So you can also call it observance. So that is the applied attention. Now I look at this cup. Oh, this is a blue cup. It has this and that pattern, this design. It is 4-inch big. Then the inside is wide. So when I go deeper, when I investigate into this cup, it is called vichara. Okay, that is the sustained. You keep on continuously continuously thinking about that cup. So when you look at that cup, see that cup, that is the vitara or the sustain applied. You're just applying your attention. You just you just pay your attention to something. Then you keep continuously paying attention to something, right? There are 2 types, right? You're just aware of something, and then you keep investigating further into it. Awareness and further investigation. So for a lack of better word, right now here in this particular, I just sent the in our group text, we call it applied and sustained attention. So basically what we are talking about is observing something or aware of something. I'm aware there is a cup in front of me, awareness. Then I keep investigating about this cup further. So there are 2 types of sort of a thought process going on: being aware and investigating further into what I am aware of, right? You see that? That is called the vitara in Sanskrit, that is observing or awareness, and then vichara, which is going further investigation. Tibetan, tokpa and jepa. Tokpa is just aware, jepa is going further. Now, a difference in the 4 stages is how much of tokpa there is, how much of jepa there is. Basically, how deep you go in, how less, how much deep are you going, and how much, how less you are going deep. So that is how you differentiate the 4 stages of the dhyana. So someone asked me to write down in Tibetan, so I'm just write it here. So tokpa is observe. I'm just tokpa is just to observe, and jepa is to investigate. Vitara, which is just to observe, being aware, and jepa, go further, investigate. Vichara. Yeah. Sorry, it's vitarka, not vitara. My bad. It's vitarka, not vitara.
Yeah.
So this is important, okay? Vitarka and vichara. So especially when you go more and more deep into, okay. So when you go more and more deep into meditation, what do you think? When most people think when you go deep into meditation, you think more. Actually, when you go into more into deep meditation, you're investigating more, and it would feel, because you're going very profoundly deep in your meditation, you would think that investigation increases, but actually observe investigation decreases, goes down when you go into a deep meditation. For example, like a very good example for our day-to-day life is uh, when is our mind at the most peaceful state? When we sleep, right? Uh, because when our mind is agitated, we cannot sleep. Or something you're worrying about something happening tomorrow, about your work, your finances, your whatever issue you have. People cannot sleep. They try to take medicine, blah blah blah, everything. So when you sleep, that means your mind is at peace. So when your mind is at peace and you're asleep, there is no observation, there is no investigation. The mind just slides through. Yes, there is dream, but you know that when you are dreaming in your sleep, the dream just continues like a movie being played, like something being played on the television set in a bar or in a restaurant. When we go to a restaurant or in a bar, we see something being played on the television set, TV there, but nobody, I mean, pays attention to what's going on. It's just playing. Dreams are also like that. When it's being played, when the dream is being played, when we are dreaming, the dream just goes on. We are not engaging in that. So when our mind is most absorbent, when we go into deep absorbing meditation, deep absorption, our vichara, our investigation subsides, uh, you know, no more, disappear, go down, like that. So anyway, now yeah, that one. First, that one, yeah. It's just a side note, but the thing is that if you want to make the proper pronunciation in Sanskrit, it's a vitark and vichar. There is not vichara like that. Even though we write the a at the end of everything, like dhyana, it's actually dhyan. There's no dhyana. So the misunderstanding or the misconception comes in the sense because when you write it in the Devanagari script or the Indian Sanskrit actually has no script. Okay, I don't know how many people knows this. Sanskrit has no script. Uh, like Tibetan has a script, English has a script. Sanskrit is very sacred, very profound, everything. But Sanskrit is just a language, but does not have any script. So Sanskrit use the Devanagari script, which is a very popular script in India. So anyway, so when you write the words in Devanagari, uh, I think we talked about this in one of the previous sessions, like maybe I don't know how many months back. So we talk about something called in all of the Indian, actually not just Indian, the belief in the Indian knowledge system, meaning ancient Indian wisdom, whether it's a Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, whatever you may call it. It is believed that the letter A is embedded. It's inherently there in every words that we pronounce. Whatever we say, we have to say it, we have to end it with the A. Without an A, we usually in Sanskrit, in the Indian sort of a culture, they call it A as the soul of letter. So without A, no letter can be formed, no sound can be formed. So there is a belief that in the Hindu system, in basically all the ancient Indian wisdom system, they believe that without the letter A, no voice can be formed. So therefore, anything they write, they end it with the A, like that. So therefore, you see Atisha, even though it's Atish, no Atisha. Then we also have Amitabha. Actually, it's Amitabh, no Amitabha. Then the most popular one and the most misconceptualized one is yoga. So in the West, I mean, if you tell somebody there is no such thing as yoga, no one is going to accept that. But in Sanskrit, it's yog. There's no yoga. There is no, in certain cases, they are different. Like Buddha, there is because okay, it's complicated. So anyway, my point here is that when you write Buddha, they actually add an extra there to make it sound as Buddha. Otherwise, if there is no extra eyes there, usually they put a. What they do is in when they write in Sanskrit, they put two as. If there is two a there, then you have to say a like Buddha. If there is just one a, you actually don't pronounce it. So like dhyana, even though there is one a, you don't pronounce it. So it should be dhyana, not dhyana, or vitark, not vitarka, vichar, not vichara, yog, not yoga, like that. If there is two a, then it becomes yoga. But in yoga, there is only one a. This is just a sidetrack, okay? Just
Yeah.
for fun, just for fun.
Yeah.
Um, like that. So sorry about that for the distraction. Now coming to the main point, okay? Okay, so we haven't still talked about the first dhyana, okay? So first dhyana, second, third, fourth dhyana. Oh, okay, another interesting thing. I think you already know this. So dhyana means to pay attention or to concentrate, which is basically meditation. Meditation, when you meditate, you pay concentration, you pay attention to something, an object. So dhyana, which means to pay attention, to concentrate, came to China before it came to Tibet. Buddhism came to China. The Chinese misheard or mispronounce, cannot pronounce, because when you learn a new language after a certain point, when you are 25, 30 years or older, you cannot hear every uh, sound and tone of that language. And if you cannot hear it, you cannot pronounce it. So even though many of the great masters from the past, they're great teachers and everything, but they still are human. So therefore, they have their limitations, and they couldn't hear. Anyway, so dhyana, dhyan, dhyan, dhyan came to China, and the Chinese cannot pronounce it properly. So they call it Chen. So Chen, when it came to then later, much later, Buddhism came from China to Japan. Japanese cannot even pronounce Chen. They pronounce it as Zen. Now we have the Zen Buddhism, very popular. We have the Chen Buddhism, China. So what now? Another misconception, because Chen is a Chinese word which is written in pinyin, right? Chinese don't have alphabet. China doesn't have alphabet before. Later, in the last over 100 years or so, they invented the alphabet called the pinyin system. So within the pinyin system, when you write C and H, it's not cha like English. In English, CHA becomes cha, like China, change, like that. But in pinyin, C and H is tra, not cha. So so a lot of people, the English, when they read about the Chinese Buddhism in English, they saw the letter CHAN, and then they call it Chan Buddhism. It's actually Ten Buddhism. Ten is actually the mispronunciation of Dhyan. So Dhyan was pronounced as Chen. Sorry, Chen. Chen was mispronounced as Zen. And Chen was also mispronounced as pronounced in the West as Chen now. So there's so much mispronunciations like that. So when it comes to mispronunciation, Tibetans, Chinese, Japanese, and Vietnamese, there is no lack of mispronunciation, and it's nothing bad, okay? Because to properly pronounce another country's another language, is not easy. Yeah. Anyway, so this is another sidetrack. So my favorite still is Amitofo in Chinese, and Aditafa in Vietnamese,
Yeah.
and Benza in Tibetan. So Tibetans cannot pronounce Vajra. We mess up. All the Vajra we recite as Benza, 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 Benza. The Chinese pronounce Amitabh or Amitabha, if you like, as Amitofo. And the same goes with Vietnamese. It's Adidafa. So yeah, these are the fun facts. Yes. Okay. Now, no more sidetrack. Okay. I really apologize for the sidetracks. Uh, 1 hour and we still haven't started the first verse. I'm really sorry for that. Okay. The first verse. Okay, even I haven't started that even yet. So basically the first verse talks about the four dhyanas, and we are talking about the four dhyanas anyways. So the first dhyana, or the first dhyana, first samadhi, or the first contemplation, okay, of the six of the usually this we call this the four dhyanas or the four contemplations of the formal realm, okay. So the first one has applied and sustained attention. Okay, so please refer to the text that I sent in the group. So it has applied attention and sustained attention there. Basically, it has vitark and vichara. It can observe, it does observe, and it does investigate into it. So, you know, the first dhyana just departed from the the six realms, right? So basically, it sees everything in the six realms as negative. Whatever good things you may see in the sixth realm, I don't want it. You know, it's meaningless. So I want something more, something beyond that, that is peaceful. So, so you are observing the peacefulness beyond the desire realm. You're observing, which is the vitark, and then you are investigating into that peaceful state, which is vichar. And when you just came into this world meaning the form realm, you came into the first dhyana. You just came into the first dhyana. So therefore, there is so much excitement. There is joy. There is joy. And because of that joy, there is a satisfaction. So that is happiness. And because it is still very concentrated, it's not distracted. So therefore, it's single pointedness. So if you refer to the text that I sent, it has vitark. The first dhyana has the vitark. It has a vichar. It has a joy. So joy here is excitement, meaning like being very happy, very excited about what's going on, and happiness because you are satisfied, content. So there is joy, there is happiness, and there is single pointedness. So this is the uh, characterization or the characteristic, sorry, the characteristic, the definition of the first dhyana. Mm. So you stay in that contemplative state for a long time. You meditate in that, so you keep practicing. After a certain time, then you become you progress to the second dhyana. So how do you know you have shifted from the first to the second dhyana? So when you reach the second dhyana, second stage of contemplation, uh, now you no longer have that observance and the investigation into the state that you are. You're no longer observing. You're no longer um, um, observing. You're no longer investigating. You just remain there, you know. So when you are at your home, you don't have to look for anything. You don't have to do anything. You just be there, right? That is how. But when you're outside, let's say if you are staying in a hotel, if you are staying in your friend's house, you know, there's a feeling of somewhere being in a stranger's house. There's a feeling of being in someone else's house. You have to do something. You cannot just total relax. There is no total relaxation is there, right? But when you are at your home, you may have tons of things to do at your home, but still you can relax because it's your home. So like that, the second stage, now you have made it into your home. So now there's relaxation. So you no longer have to observe. You no longer have to investigate. Everything is peaceful. Everything is within your reach because it's your home, you know. So vitark and vichar go away, disappear, no more. But just like when you keep running, when you do like running and then go for a running in the morning, and then when you come home after a run, even though you are not running, You are still panting like you're about to catch your like that. So even though vitark and vichar are no more there, but there's still the joy of even though you already reached the second stage. First stage is no more there. I mean, you're no longer in the first stage. It's nothing new to you, but the excitement somehow continues. So the joy, which is excitement, still there, and happiness, of course, is there, and you are totally concentrated. So single pointedness also there. So second dhyana, the characteristics of the second dhyana is no vitak, no vichar, but joy, happiness, and single pointed still there, along with inner tranquility. So I will come to that later. So I said I will come to the inner tranquility. So now I will show the for that I will only explain. I can only explain through an example. So maybe you'll also think what is the difference between single pointedness and inner tranquility, because it says it has the one pointedness remain along with inner tranquility, right? So what is the difference between single pointedness and inner tranquility? So single pointedness basically means the so we're all talking about the state of the mind. The state of the mind is that it does not have the vitark and the vichar, but it still has the joy and happiness, and it still has single pointedness. So the mind is still very highly concentrated to the object of meditation, very highly concentrated, very unwavering concentration. Okay, so therefore it's single pointed, does not distract, nothing. Inner tranquility here means even though it is 100%, okay, not 99.9%, but 100% full attention to the object of meditation, but within the mind is not distracting, nothing. So for this, I give an example. You know, when we kids, we play with something spring. So when you play with a spring and you move it, it will like that. And then after some time, when you don't move, slowly it starts to like stay. How do you call that? How do you call that? Stay stay put. At first, it just move fast, right? When you play with that, and then after, when you don't bother it, when you don't interfere, then it stays in one place. So inner tranquility is here means the state of the mind is that it is 100% focused on the object of the meditation, but at the same time, the mind itself it remain steadfast, like that spring. Even though in the beginning, when you play with it, it's moving, and the end it just stays like that. So that is inner tranquility. Okay, now the third dhyana. It's easy now because the what we abandoned in the first and the second, we no longer have in the third one. So vitark and vichar, tokpa and chopa, no more there, right? In the second round, we have the joy, little bit of excitement, continuation of the excitement still there. The third round, joy is gone, meaning there is no excitement. But in the space where joy used to when where the joy was, in that space now is equanimity. Okay, equanimity is just balance, not right, not left, not white, not black, just level. Then you have mindfulness there, and you have discernment, and you have a happiness. But that happiness, because joy is no more there, so that happiness is not a strong urge or of unhappiness. It's just a mere feeling of contentment. We call it subtle happiness. So that's the third dhyana. That is the number three. Number three. The fourth one even the subtle happiness, the joy is already gone, but there's a sense of contentment. Sense of contentment means, oh, I'm happy, right? There's a sense of being happy. Even that sense is not there, because when you are happy about something, you see something as good and another thing is bad. The happy is good, not happy, bad. So there is a sense of discernment, sense of discrimination. So subtle happiness is gone means there is no good, no bad, no judgment at all. Everything, before we talk about equanimity, but that is not 100% equanimity. Now is total equanimity. So even the subtle happiness is gone. And then so the term used here is even the subtle happiness is transcended. Please refer to the text that I sent if you don't know what I'm talking about. And living profound equanimity and mindfulness in perfect purity. So pure means clear of something impure. So here the impures are, what are the impurity here? Impurities are joy, impurities are vitalk and vichar, tokpa and chopa. Impurities are the discernment, impurities are mindfulness. All these are impure. Okay. Sorry, not mindfulness, I'm sorry. The discernment, discrimination is impure. So in this case, this discrimination is impure, and vitark, vichark, joy, they're all impure. So a mindfulness in perfect purity means a mindfulness that is cleansed or clear of all these impurities. And it is what we call not just a regular, ordinary equanimity, but a profound equanimity. What do you call it? Why do we call it profound equanimity? Because that equanimity has transcended even happiness. Usually, when we try to go for equanimity, when we meditate, we want to feel good. If something doesn't feel good, we don't want to continue with the meditation. But here, even feeling good is abandoned. You don't want to feel good, because feel good means, okay, you feel good for uh, 5 hours, let's say 24 hours. If you feel good for 12 hours, the remaining 12 hours, when you are not feeling good, is bad. So there is a distinction between good and bad, and you have the discrimination. It is not equal. It's not level. It's not equanimity. So profound equanimity is basically there is no good, no bad, just level, 100%. That is profound equanimity. Okay, so that is the fourth dhyana. Okay, now congratulations. We finished the four dhyans now. Actually, the four dhyans is very, how to call that? It's just the overview. When we study the four dhyanas, and there's something called the four dhyanas and the 17 uh, 17 residents of the formless realm. Okay, the four dhyan of the form realm and the 17 residences or 17 resides of the formless realm. So these are one of the, even though it's not as profound as the Madhyamika or other teachings, but it's very complicated, and it's one of when we study in the monastic, these are considered one of the most difficult subjects in the monastery. So what we just went is just the overview, okay, the four dhyanas, and within four dhyanas there is something called um, the 20 bhikshus who engage in the four dhyanas, and those 20 bhikshus can be uh, divided into many subcategories, basically all the way up to 400 different categories. And that's how it gets really complicated. Anyway, so this is not what I'm trying to say here is that it's a very fine introduction to the study of the form realms and the form and the formless realm. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Just one thing. The
Yeah.
17 realms, the 17 residents are not in the formless realm. It's the form realm. I
Yeah.
form realm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay. Just send a text. Anyway, now I will go to read the verse. Okay. So the term that I was trying to say is the 17 residents of the four dhyans of the form realm. Um, I will explain why this is important here. I'm not going to go into the 17 residents, okay? Basically, 17 residents means 17 types of gods, and I will also come to that. So I will first read the verse here. Verse number 41, today's first and last verse. The four samadhis, which in turn discard pursuit of pleasure, joy, and bliss and pain, will lead to fortune equals to the gods in Brahma, light, great virtue, or great fruit. Yeah. Um, so I'm not going to go into detail, but the last line of the verse number 41, it says Brahma, light, great virtue, or great fruit. So these are just the four of the 17 residents living within the uh, form realm. These are all gods or celestial beings. So basically, this is interesting. Anyone within the it's also complicated too, okay? So all the beings in the formless realm and the form realms are celestial beings, or they are all gods. Okay. So these gods, especially in the 17 residents of the fourth dhyana of the form realm, the 17 residents meaning there are 17 types of gods. And the last line that we just read are the names of the uh, four out of the 17 residents. Yeah.
Yeah.
All are souls. Okay. I think we'll conclude here because it's a lot to process. But
Yeah.
if you have questions, very much welcome to post now. Let me just go like this way, okay? Because we talk about gods. We just talk about when we reach the form realm, the beings, the individuals. So all the people, all the individuals in the form and the formless realm are not ordinary beings. They are all deep meditators, and they are gods as well. They are celestial beings. So now we already talk about the fact that those people, they see, remember, course and peace, pro and con. So they see the desire realm as con. They see the desire realm as coarse, something unpeaceful. And then they see the first dhyana, second dhyana, third dhyana, fourth dhyana as and above as peaceful, right? So within the sixth realm, we have the God. So how come now what are we talking about? It's just confusing because six realms covers God, demigod, human beings, animal, hungry ghost, and hell being. So basically, gods are the number one, the first of the uh sixth realm. And now as someone from the form realm, you actually abandon the desire realm, meaning you abandon the six realms, meaning you're no longer associated with the God realm. So how come you abandon, unassociate, separate, distance yourself from the God realm, but you still have become a God yourself? Do you see the point I'm trying to make?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though in the six realms we talk about the God, which we abandon, we discard, no longer associate. But in the form and formless realm, everybody is a God. So how do you make them connect? So the thing is, okay, this is the thing. Important one is in the desire realm, when we talk about the six realms, the God we're talking about is the God from the desire realm. So if you know what desire realm means, if you remember, desire realm is someone who is subject to desiring things from sensual pleasure. What you see, what you hear, what you can eat, this and that. So someone who is directed by that is a subject of sensual pleasure. So the God, when we talk about in this, when we say discard the six realms, the God here is the God from the desire realm, which is God that is subject to, that is, you can also say the victim of or subject to sensual pleasure. And the gods in the form realm and the formless realm, so all the beings, everybody in the form realm and the formless realm, no human, no animal, only gods. So these gods are not subject to sensual pleasure. Now, why do we call them a god? Why aren't they humans? The reason we call them God is they don't have a regular birth. When they come into this world, they just apparate, like magically appear. When they die, they magically disappear. So this is called the magical birth. And they have special powers. They don't have to eat, like human beings have to eat constantly. So their body is special, their birth is special, their death is special, or unique, if you like, from all the other beings. So since we have only six beings to talk about, they were referred to as the God beings or gods or celestial beings. But they are different from the gods in the six realms. You remember the gods and the demigods are fighting about that all the time, jealous, this and that. The gods in the form realm are not like the gods in the desire realm. All the gods in desire realm are running after sensual pleasure. The gods in the form and the formless realm are free from all of that. Now, even though they are both gods, they're different types of gods. And why they are gods? They have a magical birth, magical death, and their body is magical. So we have a couple questions, and thank you so much for the questions to everyone. The first question is, does it mean that we human can only get up to third dhyana? So as I already answered, from first dhyana onwards, you're no longer a human being. But also, okay, one important thing is form realm, formless realm, and desire realm are all part of samsara. So you know what samsara means? Cyclic existence, cycle, right? So you can be in the formless realm, you can be in the form realm, meditating, just meditating for thousands of years, but even after that, just by doing meditation does not mean you will become a Buddha or become and attain nirvana. So after you die, I'm just making things short, okay? After you die, you still come back to the hell realm. You still come back to the human realm, etc. So it is. So when you reach, let's say, the third dhyana, you are already a god. But it is not your first or last birth as a god. Okay, so it is you can still die from that and be born in the human realm. So not only the third dhyana, but from the first dhyana onwards, you are a god, but not a god from the desire realm, but a god from uh the what do you call it? the form realm. Mm. Oh yeah. Second question is, may I request your kind guidance to practice samadhi meditation in a simple way for a newbie like me when we have time? Samadhi, which means to, yeah. So you have to, okay, so very simple. So simple is first you need to find, because we are very much distracted by outside things, external things as a newbie. Uh, so therefore, we need to find a room. You need to either go to like isolation, like Himalayas or mountain or whatsoever, which is not necessarily practical for most of us. So you must reserve a certain time and a place within your abode, within the place that you live. So you can call it the temple, you can call it the altar, or you can go to an actual temple, whatever. So find a place at a time in your in your day-to-day life. So every morning for 10 minutes in your living room or in your altar, whatever, if you have one, right? So make it a discipline. Every day at that particular time, do 2 minutes of meditation at that place. Make sure you have that sort of discipline. Okay. This is the simple form. Okay. Every day or every other day, whatever you do it, make sure that you have a discipline. Okay. This is just an example. So make sure every day in your altar, you do 5 minutes of meditation at 8 a.m. in the morning. Okay. This is the discipline, simple discipline. Now, when you get there, make sure that there is no distraction at all. No music, no loud music, nothing, no sound. If there is sound, you can use noise cancellation phone, this thing, whatever. Then sit quietly. Sit quietly means you like don't dangle this and that. Just sit in a comfortable position. And you don't have to close your eyes all the way. You can leave it semi open. Usually we kind of leave it almost open. If we start feeling sleepy, we open it wider. So we get rid of this drowsiness. If we feel too much excitement, meaning like our mind goes out, distraction because of the light seeping in, we try to close it tighter. So like that. So then, hello?
Yes, Rinpoche.
Okay. Sorry, I just
You finished, Rinpoche?
no, I'm just getting a call. So please, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Rinpoche.
Okay, find a comfortable place to sit down and then close. Okay, this one already done. Then if you can, then you need to find a focal point, meaning something, an object to focus on. So it can be the Buddha's image. Buddha's image is the best because Buddha is simple. If you have Tara, Yamantaka, basically other deities have more hands as a consort, more jewelry, more difficult. Buddha Shakyamuni, simple monk, easy to meditate. So you can focus on the Buddha's head. You have the overall image of the Buddha, just visualize that, and then focus on the Buddha's head. So keep you can buy those Buddha statues, right? Not that expensive at all, made from clay, made from stone, whatever. So place it in front of you, then you observe it, look at it carefully. Let's say for 20 seconds or 30 seconds, or as comfortable as you feel. Then after that, you close your eyes and project that image within your mind, not looking with your eyes. Look at it with your mind. Meaning, in other words, I'm just using fancy words, but meaning you just create that same image in your mind. Okay? Look at it, then create the same image. Look at it, create the same image. So replicate the same thing. Keep doing that. Okay? So by doing that, you will be able to develop your concentrative skills. Okay? And that is the beginning level of samadhi development. Find the appropriate time, find the appropriate place, sit appropriately, and think appropriately. Place, time, sitting, and thinking. So these 4 disciplines need to be kept. Yeah, and the last question does not need any answer. So you already answered this question from the previous answer. Thank you, Rinpoche. Okay, so no need to answer.
Yeah, Rinpoche. Thank you very much, Rinpoche.
Yeah. So there was one question, but I think they already gave the answer in the question itself. Can you briefly explain the purpose of achieving the 4 samadhi? So far, I understand it is to achieve peace. Thanks. So so you already got the answer yourself. It is to achieve peace of mind. That is
Yeah. Langsung Rinpoche lah.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And then, okay, we do the dedication now. Yeah. Sorry for pushing too much, okay? Okay. Kewan di nyordo da lama sangye chobgyoran Dawa chinyang malum ba keye sala go bara sho chanjo semjo remboch Maye panama ge yoro che keba nyamba me barai Kone gondon pe wara shoy me zewe tere jen jen re se che me kembe wan boy chambe yang de boy mai lu cho man ze san we da kan jian ge men zo gen zong kan ba lo zon chai be shui lai soi wa de lo zon chai be shui lai soi wa de Dembe Ningbo Zimbe Benga Shin Naman Do Yu Kun Lan Chang Chun Be Lop San Che Ye Gyam Zue Cho Kun Jing Ye Dro Jin Dam Bara Zo Wan De.
Thank you, Zivuchela. Và cảm ơn
Thank you.
Thank you
tất cả
Rinpoche
anh
là.
chị.
Và
Thank
xin
you,
cảm ơn tất
everyone.
cả
Thank
các
you
anh
so
chị em
much.
đạo hữu ạ.
Thank you so much.
Đây xin cảm ơn tất cả quý vị đạo hữu ạ. Hẹn gặp
Everyone
lại
have
quý
a
vị đạo
great
hữu trong
weekend.
buổi tiếp. Thank you very much Rinpoche là. Bye
Thank you
bye
so much,
Rinpoche.
Mr. Hong, and thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you
Thầy xin
for, yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Zivuche.
Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. Okay. Okay. Someone asked for the how to achieve do the samadhi. So there's a guideline sort of thing. I will share it in the group. Okay. It's a by Adi Shandarakshita.
Thank you very much Rinpoche là. Goodbye Rinpoche là.